Blue is the color between violet and green on the optical spectrum of visible light. Human eyes perceive blue when observing light with a wavelength between 450 and 495 nanometers. Blues with a higher frequency and thus a shorter wavelength gradually look more violet, while those with a lower frequency and a longer wavelength gradually appear more green. Pure blue, in the middle, has a wavelength of 470 nanometers. In painting and traditional color theory, blue is one of the three primary colors of pigments, along with red and yellow, which can be mixed to form a wide gamut of colors. Red and blue mixed together form violet. Blue and yellow together form green. Blue is also a primary color in the RGB color model, used to create all the colors on the screen of a television or computer monitor. The modern English word blue comes from Middle English blue or bleu, from the Old French bleu, a word of Germanic origin related to Old Dutch, Old High German, Old Saxon bleu and Old Frisian blau. The clear sky and the deep sea appear blue because of an optical effect known as Rayleigh scattering. When sunlight passes through the atmosphere, the blue wavelengths are scattered more widely by the oxygen and nitrogen molecules, and more blue comes to our eyes. Rayleigh scattering also explains blue eyes. There is no blue pigment in blue eyes. Distant objects appear more blue because of another optical effect called atmospheric perspective. Blue has been used for art and decoration since ancient times. The semi-precious stone lapis lazuli, coming from mines in Afghanistan, was used in ancient Egypt for jewelry and ornament, and later, in the Renaissance, to make the pigment ultramarine, the most expensive of all pigments. In the Middle Ages, cobalt blue was used to color the stained glass windows of cathedrals. Beginning in the 9th century, Chinese artists used cobalt to make fine blue and white porcelain. Blue dyes for clothing were made from woad in Europe and indigo in Asia and Africa. In 1828, a synthetic ultramarine pigment was developed, and synthetic blue dyes and pigments gradually replaced mineral pigments and vegetable dyes. Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Vincent van Gogh and other late 19th century painters used ultramarine and cobalt blue not just to depict nature, but to create moods and emotions. In the late 18th century and 19th century, blue became a popular color for military uniforms and police uniforms. In the 20th century, because blue was commonly associated with harmony, it was chosen as the color of the flags of the United Nations and the European Union. Toward the end of the 20th century, dark blue replaced dark gray as the most common color for business suits. Surveys showed that blue was the color most associated with the masculine, just ahead of black, and was also the color most associated with intelligence, knowledge, calm and concentration. Surveys in the US and Europe show that blue is the color most commonly associated with harmony, faithfulness, confidence, distance, infinity, the imagination, cold, and sometimes with sadness. In US and European public opinion polls, it is the most popular color, chosen by almost half of both men and women as the favorite color. Shades and variations. Blue is the color of light between violet and green on the visible spectrum. Hues of blue include indigo and ultramarine, closer to violet, pure blue, without any mixture of other colors, cyan, which is midway on the spectrum between blue and green, and the other blue-greens turquoise, teal, and aquamarine. Blues also vary in shade or tint. Darker shades of blue contain black or gray, while lighter tints contain white. Darker shades of blue include ultramarine, cobalt blue, navy blue, and Prussian blue, while lighter tints include sky blue, azure, and Egyptian blue. Blue pigments were originally made from minerals such as lapis lazuli, cobalt and azurite, and blue dyes were made from plants, usually woad in Europe, and Indigofera tinctoria, or true indigo, in Asia and Africa. Today most blue pigments and dyes are made by a chemical process. Etymology and linguistic differences. The modern English word blue comes from Middle English bleu, from the Old French bleu, a word of Germanic origin, related to the Old High German word blau. In heraldry, the word azure is used for blue. In Russian and some other languages, there is no single word for blue, but rather different words for light blue and dark blue. See color term. Several languages, including Japanese, Thai, Korean, and Lakota, use the same word to describe blue and green. For example, in Vietnamese the color of both tree leaves and the sky is Xa and H. In Japanese, the word for blue is often used for colors that English speakers would refer to as green, such as the color of a traffic signal meaning go.